Listen, ladies and gentlemen, we got to discuss things involving Shedeur Sanders. You already know what's going on. Shedeur Sanders is making serious waves out there in Cleveland as we speak. It's tremendous, everything that he has accomplished in this short amount of time. A lot of people thought that it was over. It was all she wrote for Shedeur Sanders. Pardon me, the Cleveland Browns selected him. We all know the controversy. He should have went number whatever, but listen, here we are. But I want to give you some quotes from Kevin Stefanski. He has came out and said that he's in here early. He's been getting his work done. He's worked really, really hard. He said, I like everything about Shedeur Sanders. So this is some tremendous stuff right now. If you are like, if you really like Shedeur Sanders, because this means that Shedeur Sanders very, very, very likely has a great chance to be the starting quarterback. Obviously, talent wise, he warrants that. He should be treated like some of your top picks, because that's the kind of player that we're dealing with here in Shedeur Sanders. He was right there neck and neck with Cam Ward. We all know what was going on. They was labeling Cam Ward, him, Travis as the faces of this draft. Somehow, some way, Shedeur Sanders ended up just being the talk of it. But let's break it all down, y'all. Make sure you hit the like button and most definitely hit the subscribe button. You already know what it is. It's Flight Sports TV. The Cleveland Browns raised some eyebrows when they selected quarterback Shedeur Sanders in the 5th round of the 2025 draft. They talked about his character and all this and that, but obviously we all know that it's turning out to be some serious nonsense. But basically that made him plummet in the draft. So a month after, now you seeing, the vibe. Shedeur Sanders has been, being very professional. So I like Kevin Stefanski's comments. So he talked about the other rookies, and he says a few things. So it's going to be tremendous what happens. Joe Flacco, Pickett, all of these guys are still around. So we're going to find out. But Shedeur Sanders, Dylan Gabriel, that's where things going to get a little tricky, because we can't act like Gabriel isn't on this roster. I'm pretty sure he expects to do something, but it's going to be a battle between these two, and I think that the Browns is looking to have a quarterback when it's all said and done. Rookie Dylan Gabriel, who the Browns selected third in the 3rd round, pardon me, of the draft, could prove to be Sanders' biggest barrier to securing a starting role. Both of their performances will be scrutinized closely during training camp and in the preseason. So this is being reported. If Sanders is unable to secure the team's starting job immediately, that's not really a bad thing. But few 5th round picks, are elevated, even on day one. That's what I'm saying. This is why I hate what has happened to Shedeur Sanders, because you are talking about a guy who should be given the franchise, but now they are labeling him as like a 5th round pick. Hey man, we're not about to move heaven on earth for you. You could be out the door. The way they acting like is we could be out the door tomorrow. We got other options. He's a 5th round pick, for crying out loud. This is how they move it. And this is why it's disgusting. What has happened. Shedeur has to come out and just dominate to get the respect. Because you're talking about a 4-year, $4 million contract. I mean, that should have never happened. That he signed that contract. We all know Shedeur Sanders should have got that real big bag, but clearly the NFL, they got in conjunction to send him a message. Coach Prime, all of them, the hate is bad, that the hate and all of the negativity, it all comes from his father. And we're gonna get into that as well. So make sure you subscribe to Flight Sports when we break that down. You know, um, like I said, this 2025 draft was crazy, but he's gonna end up being the biggest steal. I think that's the way they have him. It's almost like he's going to be kind of in that realm with Tom Brady. That's how they pushing him. But I definitely like what's happening with Shedeur Sanders. All of this good, positive energy, that helps benefit him to get in that job, at least get in that shot. I think if Shedeur gets it would be just like I said, tremendous. He's gonna run away with it like a baton. But is it is it the end of the world? And that's why I'm gonna ask y'all. If he doesn't end up being the starting quarterback, if they end up moving Dylan Gabriel up first, who's to say Gabriel is going to, be able to succeed at, the level that people want? Um, is it is it in Shador's best interest to be thrown out there right away? We have to think about that. I think that he is ready and he will perform, but you got to look out for Dylan Gabriel, because he is another young guy, a rookie just like him. This is a different situation. They have put Shedeur in a situation like no other, and he's really going to have to rise to the occasion. I think that he was born for something like this. We have been watching Gabriel. People have said that Gabriel is not on the level of Shedeur. Shedeurs came out and it was you know, just showed that he's on a whole nother level. That was from early reports. Now you see Stefanski. Everybody made it seem like Shedeur was this egotistical guy. But as we see, he's in early. He's doing all of his work, not half stepping. The Giants put out a nasty report that he wasn't prepared for this and this and that. That was messed up. And I really think that the Browns are going to pay for what not the Browns, the Giants. The Giants put out a nasty report that he wasn't prepared when he was talking to, I believe, Dable or whatever. Um, so I don't know what happened there, but all of these teams potentially are going to pay for passing on Shedeur Sanders because it was clearly a tremendous, tremendous error. And we're going to find out because I believe the Browns are going to be successful, with Shedeur Sanders for years to come. Y'all get in the comment section. Y'all let me know. And how big and impactful is this fifth round situation going to be able to hold him back? Because I think that's going to also be a barrier for him to break into different, situations. They got him like, hey, you better calm down. You lucky you even here. That's the kind of vibe that's happening. And he shouldn't be treated like that. That's what I'm saying. But only time will tell. Clearly, is a plan in place. They know who Shedeur Sanders is. They've been watching him for years. I'm pretty sure they know everything about him. So we're going to get into it, man. We're going to be bringing up but nonstop news updates and more. Make sure you hit the like button and most definitely hit the subscribe button. It's Flight Sports TV. Shedeur Sanders was praised heavily, for this, for the way his performance is, the way he came in. He shocked a lot of people in Cleveland. Now let's see if it translates to the field. It's Flight Sports TV. Shout out to 2LEGENDARY. You already know what it is. Let's get in the comment section. Let's get interactive.